සංසාර සාරෝග විනීතනී සම් සන්නීත සාතම් සුචිසාරදී සම් සන්ධීරකං සොන්න තනුපලාසම් සංලාපදේසින් පනමේ බිසාසම් සමන්තා චක්කවාලේසු අත්‍රා ගච්ඡන්තු දේවතා සද්ධම්මං මුනි රාජස්ස සුනන්තෝ සග්ග මොක්ඛදම් ධම්ම ශ්‍රවණ කාලෝ අයං බදන්තා ධම්ම ශ්‍රවණ කාලෝ අයං බදන්තා ධම්ම ශ්‍රවණ කාලෝ අයං බදන්තා නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දන්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දන්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දන්ස පංචමානි භික්ඛවේ ඉන්ද්‍රියානි කතමේ පංච සද්දේන්ද්‍රයං විරේන්ද්‍රයං සතේන්ද්‍රයං සමාධීන්ද්‍රයං පඤ්ඤේන්ද්‍රයන්ති. Homage to the exalted one, the worthy one, the perfectly enlightened one. Okay, dear friends in the Dhamma, in this week we are going to discuss about the 5 spiritual faculties. This is one of the major doctrines that we can see in Buddhism. You know, when we discuss Buddhism, especially we can see very special doctrines. Okay. Can you remember that what they are? What are the main doctrines that always we discuss when we talk about Buddhism? What are the main doctrines in Buddhism? Can you remember? Mr. David? Yes, 3 disciplines. Trivida Shiksha. Sila, Samadhi, Panya, virtue, morality, and concentration and wisdom. What else? Are there any other special doctrines in Buddhism that you have heard? You can remember? Yes, loving kindness. But especially when we focus on Nibbana, enlightenment, what are the main doctrines? You know that when we find some doctrines, we can find other religions too, such as loving kindness. Loving kindness is practiced not only in Buddhism, but in other religions also we can see that thing, loving kindness. I am asking you, what are the special teachings in Buddhism? Yes? Yes, Patisampada, the dependent origination, that is the heart of Buddhism. Every noble quality is increased. That how far we have understood the dependent origination. That is one of the major doctrine in Buddhism. What are other things? Yes, metta, karuna, loving kindness and compassion. Those are also the common doctrines that in other religion also we can find. But I am asking you, what are the special doctrines, advices, messages that Buddha has given us very kindly? Anatta. Yes, anatta. Yes, anatta, there are three things like anicca, dukkha, anatta. Anicca means impermanence, dukkha means suffering or unsatisfactoriness, anatta means egolessness. What are the other things? The Four Noble Truths, Eightfold Path, 7 Enlightenment Factors, Sattabojjhanga, and 5 Spiritual Faculties. Now we are going to discuss. And these are the special doctrines in Buddhism, special messages that we can see in Buddhism. What they are? The dependent origination, Four Noble Truths, 3 characteristics, 3 lakshana, and 3 disciplines, Sila Samadhi Panya, and Pancha Indriya, 5 spiritual faculties, Sattabojjhanga, 7 enlightenment factors, Aryattangika Magga, Eightfold Path. These are very important. Okay, we can see these doctrines in any other religion. That is why whenever you think about Buddhism, these doctrines should come to your mind. When somebody asks you what Buddhism is, then you have an ability to say these very special doctrines that we can see in Buddhism. Okay, please say again. First one, very important thing is the dependent origination, Patisampada. And also Four Noble Truths. It means Chaturara Satya. And 3 characteristics, 3 lakshana. Anicca, dukkha, anatta. Impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and egolessness. And 3 disciplines, Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Virtue, concentration, and wisdom. And 5 spiritual faculties. This topic now we are going to discuss. The 5 spiritual faculties, Pancha Indriya. And Sattabojjhanga, 7 enlightenment factors. And Arya Attangika Magga. What they are? Samma Ditti, Samma Sankappa, like that. Arya Attangika Magga, the Eightfold Path. These are the very special things that Buddha has explained in Buddhism. What are the common other doctrines that we can see in Buddhism? They can be seen in other religions too. What they are? Karmic law. Very good. Karmic law can be seen not only in Buddhism, but before Buddha appeared in the world, most of people in the world, they had understood the nature of the karmic law, but it was not a complete understanding, but they have understood. What are the other things that we can see in Buddhism? Rebirth also, very good. Rebirth also is understood by people before Buddha appeared in the world. There are other things, 4 sublime states, Satara Brahma Viharana, as you mentioned, Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekha. Okay, what they are? Loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekha. Mudita means that sympathetic joy. When some people are successful, we have no jealousy. We wish them, we are happy. We have no jealousy. That is the nature of sympathetic joy or mudita. Upekha means that we are in the middle among good and bad. We are in the middle. Upekha. we can see these doctrines in Buddhism and other religions too. But Buddhism has given very special comprehension, special explanation for these doctrines after Buddha appeared in the world. Okay? Now, here we are going to discuss the 5 spiritual faculties. Okay? Day by day, when we listening to Buddha's message, what Buddha taught, as I mentioned before, our understanding gradually increases. What are the areas that our understanding increases? When we listening to what Buddha taught, our understanding increases in special areas. What they are? One of them is the karmic law. As much as we listening to what Buddha taught, the knowledge of our karmic law gradually increases day by day. This is one of the things. What is the other thing? Please come here. Please come here. What is the other thing that we can improve when we listening to Buddha's teachings? Yes, impermanence or the knowledge of dependent origination. Okay? Dependent origination. If we listening to Buddha's real message, actually these both areas should be increased day by day. If we listening to the real message of the Buddha, but in the name of the Buddha's message, we listening a lot of things in this society. But this is the real areas. You should be intelligent. When you are listening to somebody who explains the Buddha's message, you should comprehend. You should be knowledgeable. You should be intelligent whether those areas increase or not. If your understanding doesn't increase, it means you listening to that Buddha didn't explain. Then if you are listening to Buddha's real message, actually your understanding of karmic law and the understanding of dependent origination gradually should increase day by day whenever you are listening to what Buddha taught. Okay? When you are knowledgeable about the karmic law, what happens to you? What are the changes in your life when you are knowledgeable about the karmic law? You should be very practicable. Okay? Buddhism is a very practicable teaching. It is not only a philosophy. It is a lifestyle. It is the living way. It is so practicable, and also according to Buddhism, sanditthiko akaliko, it is visible results, immediately affect you. The results are not only here, not only hereafter. Many religions we can see their liberation, their enlightenment, they have explained after death. But the important thing in Buddhism, our liberation, our enlightenment can be seen in this life. After we enlighten, we can live further. We can live with our parents, relatives, friends. Furthermore, we can live. That is the interesting thing in Buddhism. But other religions like Hinduism or like some other religions, when they will enlighten, we can see a person because they have gone to the heavenly realm near the God. But the special thing in Buddhism, after a person become the enlightenment, we can see the person. Okay? Buddhism is a very practicable teaching. And as much as your understanding increases, then your karmic understanding, the volitional action, the law of volitional action gradually increases. When your understanding of karmic law increases, what happens to your life? Then in one side you know very well, when you do something with impure mind, you will have the bad results, unwholesome results. Then you are afraid of those negative results. Therefore, you go away from unwholesome emotions. That is why Buddha said in his first advice that Sabba Papa Sakarana. As much as you are knowledgeable about the karmic law, you are afraid of negative results. If you want good results, you can't change the results. You want to change the course. Without changing course or reason, you can't change the result. Therefore, if you want good results, you should have good reasons, good causes. Then, at the very beginning, as the knowledge of karmic law, we always try to avoid negative emotions, unwholesome emotions. That is why Buddhism says, Sabba Papa Sakarana, not to do any evil. We always keep our mind away from anger, lustful desire, and delusion. These are the main reasons, these are the main causes which disturb our peace of mind. Whenever we are uncomfortable, whenever we are unhappy, whenever we are suffering, be sure at that moment our mind is with anger, greed, delusion. Especially whenever we are suffering, be sure we are living in the past experience. When you live in the present moment completely with mindfulness, then you have no defilements, you have no craving, you have no anger, you have no delusion. Whenever you live in the present moment, according to Buddha advice. According to Buddha advice. You know, there are some teachings we can see in the world. They also say that, please forget your past. Please forget your future. Live in the present moment. Actually, that is not the Buddha's advice. Buddha never said that you forget your past or future. Buddhism never says you to forget your past or future. If you forget your past and future, it is a big mistake in your life. Why is it? Buddhism always encourages us to practice, increase mindfulness. As the result of practicing mindfulness, does our memory go up or go away? When we practice mindfulness, what happens to our memory? Actually, according to practicing our mindfulness, our memory grows up. It develops. Buddhism always advises us to forgive, but never forget. Forgiveness is a good quality, but forgetting is a bad mistake. It is wrong. That is why I said to you that living in the present moment, we should practice according to what Buddha taught. I will explain, I will ask you, okay? Please wait a minute, okay? When I say something, I have to say it in order, okay? When somebody asks some question, then Flow stops. Okay, sorry. End of the sermon, you can ask any question. Okay, don't worry. And with the knowledge of karmic law, that in one hand, we try to overcome unwholesome deeds. On the other side, we try to develop good deeds, good emotions, wholesome emotions, such as loving kindness, generosity, and intelligence or wisdom. What is the reason? We like fruitful results. Not only hereafter, especially we like fruitful results in this life itself. More than 70% result that we receive in day-to-day life as the result of our activities that we did in this life. Some people may say that I don't believe karmic law. I believe only my effort, only my activities. Actually, that is also karma. When they do something, after they die, they do it, they will see the results in this life. That is not away from karmic law. That includes in karmic law. For example, when you work hard from morning to evening, then you will receive more money. That is the result of your karma in this life. But in the name of karmic law, people mostly believe only the previous karma. But not only previous karmas that we have, the result that we receive in our day-to-day life, some results are included in this life karmas, this life actions. When you help your mom and dad, you can see some results. When you help other innocent people, you can see the results. When you work hard, when you study very hard, then you will have the same result. You can see the results. It is also karma and result. It is not away from the karmic law. Okay? Then here, on the other side, in this level, we have an understanding that in some ways we can control some results of our karma. Even a Buddha couldn't change some karmas. When we discuss the karma, we can discuss in both areas. One of them is karma action, and the other side is result. Karma and result. Karma means action. Vipaka means result. In one side we do karma, in other side we receive the result, vipaka. And sometimes we can't change the results. Even a Buddha can't change the results. If we have this understanding, we are silent. When some kind of results come to our life, we are silent. Why? We know very well, sometimes we can control some results. Sometimes, even our children, sometimes they have misbehavior. We advise again and again. We help them again and again. We show our kindness to them again and again. But sometimes we can change them. That is their karma. On the other side, sometimes we get some medicine for some illnesses. We can control them because some problems arise because of our some karmic energy. Even though we are so qualified in medicine, we can control some illnesses. That is the nature of the karmic law. If we have this understanding, we are in silence when we can change some results. That is also one of the results whenever we have the understanding of karmic law. Okay? As much as we listen to what Buddha explained, the knowledge of karmic law gradually increases. Okay, actually these are the reviews, okay, these are not the new informations that I am explaining. Okay, again and again, every day I explain the karmic law, okay. Every day I explain the nature of the dependent origination. That is the foundation of Buddhism. That is why I explain again and again. The dependent origination. As much as we listening to Buddha's message, our understanding of the dependent origination gradually should increase. What is the nature of the dependent origination that Buddha has explained? Our experience arises at the moment. Whatever we receive through our senses, through our eyes, through our nose, through our body, through our ears, through these senses, whatever we receive as experience, that experience arises at the moment, in this moment. That experience doesn't come to the present from the past. That experience doesn't go to the future from the present. But you know, every moment influences the next moment. My immediately previous emotion influences this moment. This moment influences next position, next moment. It doesn't mean that my previous experience comes to present and this present experience goes to future. Every moment influences next moment, but nothing comes to present from the past. Nothing goes to future from the present. Every moment this experience arises and ceases. For example, when I do this sound, when I do it again, both sounds are same. Because the condition is same, the sound is same. You know, when we see this picture, when we see again, we can see the same picture. We say just like it is same, but it is completely new, like this sound. But because conditions are same, we may think that the experience is same, but it is different. Every moment is new. Every moment is refreshed. But you know, because of our ignorance, we can't see the beauty of our life. Our mind always lives in the past experience. That is why we have lost the beauty of life. Because we can see the future, present moment. We have lost our beauty of life, that living in the present moment.
Is that because we're steadily looking at past and future, so we're not paying attention to the present moment?
This meaning that whenever we see something, we mostly think, now I am seeing that I saw before. Our mind immediately goes to the past. For example, when you see a person, you may think that this person that I have seen last week. Then you live in the last week experience. Then if he has some misbehavior, you live in his past misbehavior. If you know his good behavior, you live in his past misbehavior, good behavior. Whether you live good behavior or bad behavior, both of them depends on ignorance. Buddha has explained how we overcome the ignorance. As much as we can overcome ignorance, then we can see the beauty of our life. Then that is why Buddha explained that how we develop mindfulness and intelligence. First of all, we should know this process. Without knowing this understanding, we have nothing to practice. Therefore, Buddha has said, Janato aham bhikkhave passato asvanam khayam vadami. I declare the path for the people who know this message, who see this message. Therefore, at the very beginning of this path, we should be knowledgeable how suffering arises. What is the nature of the ignorance? What is the nature of impermanence? Impermanence means that every moment our experience arises, immediately it ceases. But because of ignorance, we always live in the past experience. Then we trained our mind to live in the present moment, seeing this impermanence. Therefore, Buddhism says, our success completely depends on how far we have this understanding, not only knowledge that we should have, we should practice it. How we practice it? Through mindfulness and wisdom. Through samatha meditation and vipassana meditation. In samatha meditation, we trained our mind to live in the present moment, purifying our mind from negative emotions, anger, lustful desire, ignorance. On the other side, we develop good emotions with the understanding of impermanence. We reflect on impermanence again and again, arising and ceasing. In both ways, in both sides, we practice loving. In one side, we practice mindfulness. On the other side, we practice intelligence or wisdom. This is our success. Not only understanding, but we mostly listening to Buddha's message again and again. We are knowledgeable. We always try to qualify it with the understanding, but knowledge isn't enough for this path. Although we have only knowledge, if we don't practice it, our knowledge is useless. On the other side, if we are going to practice something without this understanding, our practice is not successful. It's like without a map or address, we are going to the road to go somewhere. Before you start a journey where you didn't go before, first of all, you should be knowledgeable where you are going to. Without a map or address, if we drive fast, our effort is useless. On the other side, although we are knowledgeable about what Buddha taught, if we don't practice it, our knowledge is useless. Then both areas, both of them are very important in this path of purification. Okay? And one thing is karmic law, on the other side the knowledge of the dependent origination. Okay, now if you have any question you can ask. Okay? No, anybody, if you have any question, don't look at others. Look at yourself.
But you mentioned karmic law. People know they're aware of karmic law, but like you see everyday life in people, example, there are those addicted to drugs and alcohol and smoking. They know the cause and effect of it, but they still can't run away from it.
Okay, you are correct. Actually, although sometimes we are knowledgeable, some things we can control. If we have some habits that we have practiced in our previous lives, sometimes we are going to some misbehaviors. That is nature of our life. That is why we should have good friends. Our spiritual path, our success in our life completely depends on association, good friends. Then if we don't have good friends, sometimes we can practice them.
Even among family members, there are those children, one in the family that are not gamblers, and there are those who are siblings also, but they're gamblers. So it's hard to do the association if they are good and bad in the same family.
Yes, sometimes we may think that they are knowledgeable, they know everything, but actually they have no real understanding. If they have deep understanding, actually we can overcome a lot of misbehaviors in our life. Sometimes, some karma we can change. For example, cannot change. Okay, the problem is, sometimes, for example, if you have some negative results because of our previous negative actions, if we have an ability to receive misbehavior children, although we advise them again and again, we can't change it. Because we have some unwholesome karmas. That is, yes, because of our previous actions, we can't change those actions. Because already we have done it. Now we have to face only the results. That is one of the reasons. With the knowledge of karmic law, that is why I mentioned you, as much as we are knowledgeable in one side, we are go away from evils. On the other side, we develop good karma, good actions. On the other side, we are in middle, we are in silent, when we can control some karmas. We should have this kind of ability with the knowledge of karmic law. It doesn't mean that we should be lazy. Actually, we try to do something again and again. If we have some close relatives or friends, if we can change them, if we can change their misbehavior, we should try it again and again. After we have done it, if we think I can do it, then we have nothing to do.
I think maybe the injury is so strong, the senses is very strong.
That means, please explain it.
I think maybe the sense is so strong, they're struggling, they can't get out. For example, I encountered this lady, started smoking very hard, and she go to what you call that? What's that the one that is not real cigarette? Yeah, she go to that method, and then later on she go away and she go back to cigarette again. So you think that is the injury? That's very hard to escape.
Actually, the problem I can see that sometimes some people have mental problems. That is the problem. If somebody has misbehavior, mostly they have some kind of mental problems. That is why, we have met some people who are very knowledgeable about Buddhism, but they have a lot of misbehaviors because they have some kind of mental problems. That is why they have that kind of misbehavior. Then, however, we try to help them. That is our kind. But although we try to do them, if we think that we can change them, what we can do? Then, especially the main thing is that as much as we are knowledgeable about this karmic law, first of all, we should be in the Dhamma. That is the first thing. The next one is we should not be burned out. That's the second thing. Both of them are very important. When we are going to give the counseling for others, if you are burned out, actually it is also not good. Therefore, the first thing is we should be strong with good personality when we help others. And also, if we are very strong with knowledge and spirituality, then sometimes we can help others. We can influence them when we are so strong. But if we are not strong with spirituality and understanding, we can't help them. That is why always we try to develop our good energy by practicing meditation, by practicing virtue. Day by day we should develop our energy, our spirituality, practicing the Dhamma. Okay, on this way, as much as we are knowledgeable about the dependent origination, we are hurried to see the result. The reason is, Dhamma is the visible result, immediately effective. That is why we try to go forward as much as we can while we are doing other things. We always keep the Dhamma in front. And on this path, 5 spiritual faculties are very important. If we are in the Dhamma, day by day, these 5 spiritual faculties should increase. And what they are? First one is Saddha. Saddha means the confidence in Buddha's enlightenment. Second one is energy or virya. Virya means the effort, the courage not to do evil and practice good. Sati, mindfulness and awareness of our mind and body. And Samadhi. Samadhi means concentration or tranquility. As the result of practicing mindfulness, we are able to keep our mind for a long time with a particular wholesome object. And Panya. Panya means wisdom, the knowledge of impermanence. And this is like a ground or land. And especially we should know the land is the mindfulness. Among these 5 things, mindfulness is the middle. Mindfulness is the center. When we live in mindfulness, then these 4 things gradually increase. This is the field where we should live in. That is why Buddha said, when you practice mindfulness, mindfulness means the awareness of our mind and body. In details, that the contemplation of our body, the contemplation of our feelings, the contemplation of our mental formations, the contemplation of consciousness. Khayanupassana, Vedanupassana, Chittanupassana, Dhammanupassana. When we live in mindfulness, other 4 things gradually increase. What are the things? Confidence in Buddha's enlightenment, and virya, the effort that not to do evil and to practice good deeds. And samadhi, we trained our mind to live in the present moment. And panya, with concentrated mind we reflect on impermanence again and again. You have to add fertilizer here. You have to add the water here. Then the plants in the land gradually grow. These are the plants that grow in your field, in your land. What is the land that we should live in? The mindfulness or awareness, sati. That is why Buddha said, when you live in this field, mindfulness, the qualities gradually increase. Then Indriya means main thing, or Adipati, leader. Indriya means the leaders. It means in our entire life we have mentioned these 5 things always. For example, now, what are the main persons or incidents that you think in your day-to-day life? What are the main facts of persons that you think every day?
Are you referring to the 5 precepts?
No, I am asking then the person who doesn't know Buddha commonly, in common. What you mention daily? What are the major 5 that you think every day? About your son, about your car, about your home, about your job, about your physical body. Usually. Okay? If you do an exam, then every day you think about your exam. If you have a close relative or friend, you think about that person. If you have a relative who are suffering some illness, you think about him or her. If you have a loan, you are thinking about how you give it, how you get it back. These are the things now every day we think. Okay? Now honestly, remember that what are you thinking in your day-to-day life. I'll tell it. Okay? Your children, your vehicle, your close mom or dad, your job, your husband or wife. Okay? These are the main facts for persons that you think your everyday life. Okay? This is common. If you have any other idea that you mention every day, you think in your day-to-day life? If you have any other special thing that you think in your day-to-day life, Mr. David? You have, I think you have other special wishes. Yes. I don't know you can understand what I am saying. I am asking you in your day-to-day life just now, what do you mention in your day-to-day life? Especially the 5 special persons or some activities or that you usually mention in your day-to-day life.
Grandson.
Yes, grandson. Okay, good. Any other thing that you think? Pets. Yes, very good. That is also one of the things that we think usually. Our pets, our children, our job, our mortgage, our car, our parents, our husband or wife. Okay? If you have a problem in your office, you think about that. If a person is disturbing you these days, you are thinking about that. These are the main facts in which that you are living. You know, when we develop our mindfulness, the main facts that come to our mind in all ways is these 5 things. But that is why it says as Indriya Dhamma. These are the leaders in our life. Every moment we think about the Buddha's enlightenment, his teachings, as David mentioned, and Buddha's noble disciples. On the other side, we think how I overcome this good behavior, how I practice good deeds. On the other side, we are hurried to practice meditation, how we develop my duration that I meditate. And also always we think about the dependent origination. These are the main facts for persons that we think in our day-to-day life. Okay? It means we are on the path of liberation. It means on the other side, we are sure that our next life is better than we have now. Until these very special doctrines, faculties are not the main qualities in our life, we are not sure whether we have good life, better life in next birth. Okay, have you any question? You can ask. In our day life, these 5 things are main facts that we have in our life.
So what if something disturbing your mindfulness and something else, like your job or someone you just
Yes,
walk away?
actually when we have some problems, we do some activities. This is a very practicable path. If we have some person, who disturbs always us, we get some decisions. Sometimes we have to call 911, we do it. Actually, we have to do something when we have problems. And also, if you want to do other degree or other course, if you want to add another class in your university, you do it. If you go to your country to visit your parents, you do it. If you are sick, you have to go to the hospital. We do those activities. But these 5 things are main facts of life. While you are going to your country in flight, you are memorizing, you are thinking about the dependent origination. You try to concentrate your mind with loving kindness. Sometimes you have to go to the court. While you are driving to court, you are practicing loving kindness on the path, on the way. And also, you may have some problems in your life. While you are solving those problems, we always think about these 5 faculties. Okay? Although we are sick, we get medicine 1 minute, several minutes per day. But mentally we are thinking it again and again. You prepare your food in the morning or daytime or very few moments. While you are preparing your food, we think a lot of incidents. How your parents are working, how your enemies disturb you. We are thinking a lot of incidents while we are cooking, while we are washing our clothes. Then actually we have a lot of vacations. Even, while we are working in office or in somewhere, then we can think good emotions. If we have this understanding, we are always with these 5 faculties. That is why one day, one of princes, when Buddha was living, he asked the Buddha, Bhante, we are the rulers of a country. We face some difficult situations. Sometimes we have to kill some persons too. In this situation, what happens to our next life? What is the nature of our next life? If we die in this complex situation, what happens to our next life? A prince asked Buddha, What is the Buddha's answer? Buddha knew that, as I explained in my sermon last Sunday, that incident, Buddha told him, if you have practiced those 5 spiritual faculties, you are rich in merits. Then even though you die in a very complex situation, your next birth is successful. Don't worry. Because always you are living in these 5 faculties. That is the real safety. That is the real refuge. Not only the getting the insurance, life insurance. This is the real refuge. This is the real insurance. This is the real protection. On the other side, as soon as the Buddha meets a person, suddenly he focuses on how far we have practiced these 5 faculties in our previous life. Then when a Buddha is coming here, and when he comes here, as soon as he comes here, he focuses on your mind. How far you have practiced these 5 qualities in your previous lives. That is the main quality that Buddha finds. Okay, actually this is the real dowry. This is the real property. This is the real insurance that we have. If we have developed these 5 qualities, it means even though we have a lot of problems in our day-to-day life, those problems can't influence to our life because we are very strong with these 5 faculties. Day by day we go forward with these 5 qualities. Especially, although there are 5 things, saddha or confidence, energy, concentration and wisdom. Although there are 5 qualities, don't worry, we have to practice only 2. Finally, we have to practice mindfulness and wisdom. Buddha said that, although there are many doctrines in Buddhism, finally all doctrines can be included into 2. They are mindfulness and wisdom. On the other side, Buddha said that if you practice only thin, the wisdom, then all other qualities gradually increases. When we are thinking about dependent origination, impermanence, arising and ceasing, every moment, if we are clever to reflect on impermanence again and again, when you see something, when you hear something, when we eat something, when we smell something, we are clever to reflect on impermanence with the knowledge of 5 aggregates. Whatever we are experienced, it means 5 aggregates arise. Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. Matter, feelings, those are the things arises. Those 5 things arise at the moment. Whenever we experience, whatever we experience. These 5 aggregates arise at the moment immediately, without remaining anything. At once it ceases. If we are clever to live with the knowledge of the impermanence, reflecting on impermanence, reflecting on dependent origination, then every moment other 4 things gradually increase. As the result of practicing this path, we can change some kind of our negative results. As the result of our previous actions, if we have some unwholesome results, evil results, actually we are clever to reduce them. More than 50%, not 100%, more than 50% results, negative results, evil results we can control. on the other side, although we have good energy, good karmas, there are some things that are not controlled by us. They are aging, sickness, death and rebirth. Even though we are doing good karmas, some wholesome activities, we can control those challenges. That is why Buddha said, we have very special main 3 challenges in our life. They are aging, old age, death and rebirth. Sometimes we can control our sicknesses. We can be healthy. But these 3 things cannot be controlled by common good deeds. But they are aging, death and rebirth. That is why we should develop wisdom. If we are clever to live in wisdom, seen impermanence, at that moment be sure we have overcome aging. We have overcome our own death. We have overcome our own rebirth. If we are clever to overcome our own aging, death and rebirth, how about our children, our parents, those problems? Actually, we have already overcome those problems of our other relatives and friends. Then, whenever we are living with mindfulness and wisdom, at that moment, we don't consider our age. Don't worry about your old age, about your aging. At that moment, we have no idea about our age. Some people are afraid of to say their age. They don't say how old they are. When we ask their age, they are so angry. Don't worry. If you are on the path of liberation, if we are on the path of liberation with mindfulness and wisdom, at that moment we have overcome our old age, aging. Not only aging, but death and rebirth too. Whenever we live with completely mindfulness and wisdom, if we die at the moment, what happens to us? We don't feel that suffering, and also we have no more birth. We complete everything when we die. Like a lamb blinks. We have nowhere to go. Now we have a place to go. When you think your home, when you think your children, as soon as we think our home and children, if we think that they are there, they are at home, until I will go there, they are waiting for me. If we think, don't worry, we are ready to be rebirth. You don't go away from the world. We are in the world until we think this attitude. It doesn't sound that you go to the hell realms. Actually, because of your good activities, you are ready to go to a next better life. But although we go to a better life, still we are in the world circle, sansaric journey. Because after experience, we think that still they are happening. Still they are there. How do we overcome this ignorance? By practicing mindfulness and wisdom, as soon as we think something, we should have an ability to reflect on now this emotion come to my mind this moment. It didn't come to the present from the past. As soon as you think your children, actually your world is only children. When you think your vehicle which is on the street, then you have only the vehicle. At that time you have no even physical body. When you think your enemy who has disturbed you, then you can see the beauty of this all. At that moment your world is that enemy. When you think your mom, you are a very obedient daughter, obedient son. At that moment you have no children. When you think your home, you have only your home. Actually we have only 1 second, one experience at once. When we have one experience, other all experiences are dead. When you think about some relative who passed away, actually when you think about that person who died, who passed away, actually that person is alive. Why is it? When you think your friend who passed away, you may think his activities when he was living, what he did. You are thinking about that. Then at that moment your friend or relative is alive. What is the death of your relative or friend? Whenever you don't think about him, at that moment he is dead. Yes. Even though your grandma died, when you think your grandma, actually that grandma is living in your world. You know, we had a lot of friends in our, school life. If you don't think about them, actually they are died. They are dead. Whenever you think something at that moment, those experiences are alive in your world. It means we can give a life to others. But how about Arhantas? What is the attitude of the Arhantas for Buddha? In their world, there is nobody. Whenever they think they know very well, at that moment, they create something and they live with that thing or person. It is like just, when we go to the mirror, at that moment, we create a shadow and we can see that experience. When we go to the mirror, we know very well there was not figure or shadow before we go there. Daily you go to the mirror. But you go to the mirror to see the picture is not the before you go to the picture. You go to the picture, see the picture. Whenever you go to the mirror, that shadow arises at the moment. You go to see that picture. Before you go to the mirror, you never think that my shadow was waiting for me until I come. We never think. We are intelligent. But how about our pets? Before they go to the mirror, they are pets there. After they leave, the pet remain there in their mind. Because of their ignorance, there is something before they go, it remains after they leave. We are like pets now. Even though we are intelligent in front of the mirror in other ways, in other situations, we are like pets. When we think our mom, we may think that before I think my mom was at home. After my mind goes to another thing, still my mother is living. It is true according to conventional truth. Don't misunderstand. Buddhism doesn't neglect the conventional truth. It is true according to conventional truth. But until we are living in the conventional truth, we never go away from the samsaric journey. If we want to go away from the samsaric journey, then we have to go to the next level of intelligence, the ultimate truth. What is the ultimate truth according to Buddhism? Every moment we create the world. We live in the world that is created by us. According to conventional truth, before we were born here, there was a world. After we die, the world remains. This is the conventional truth. In the world, all religions, philosophers, all teachings, all teachings have explained depending on the conventional truth. The only Buddhism that says, according to ultimate truth, before we were born, there was not a world. After we die, the world doesn't remain. Not only from our real birth, but the world arises when our eyes open, when our ears open, the world arises. When our intention goes to another object, that world ceases at once. Then if we can develop this attitude, then our intelligence is very high. At that moment, we go away from the heavy thing. Until we acquire this understanding, we are holding a big heavy thing. Buddhism says it's bharahara. We are lifting a very big weight, very heavy weight. The reason is everything that we received still we have in our mind. We are lifting a very heavy weight. Until, although we have no anything in our hands, in our mind there are a lot of things. That is why we are no free from suffering. If we are clever to practice wisdom, it means we are depending on mindfulness. When we practice mindfulness, as Buddha mentioned, with the knowledge of independent origination, then automatically our confidence in Buddha's enlightenment gradually increases. Not only his understanding, we have faith in his teachings. And also we have confidence in his noble disciples. And also we have energy, courage, that how we overcome suffering, how we develop good deeds. Every moment we have energy, we have courage, how to overcome evils, how to develop good deeds. On the other side, day by day we develop our concentration. Loving kindness, breathing meditation, those are the by using these techniques in our day-to-day life, day by day we develop our mind. What are the results of this path? When we practice these qualities, these 5 spiritual faculties, what are the changes in our life? We mostly live in the present moment. And also, we think our happiness is in this moment. Now we think my happiness is after I go home. After you go home, Your happiness is not at home. Then your happiness is next morning after you go to office. How about when you go to office? Again you think, my happiness is in the morning, in the evening, after I leave the office. After you leave office, you think that my happiness is when I go home. When you go home, you may think that my happiness is in my dream, in the bed. After you get up early morning, you may think that my happiness is when I go home, go to my place, job place. Actually, we always think that my happiness is in future. When you drive, when you are going to a long journey, sometimes it may 100 miles. As soon as you start your car, you may think that after I go 100 miles, I will be happy. Always we think that the happiness is in the future. But how about when we are going to start this path? When is the happiness? Happiness is in this moment. Whenever you are, is the place where you are happy. When you drive, you look at around you. You are happy seeing the environment. When you go to the office, you are happy with doing your duties. When you are preparing some food for your children, you are happy when you are preparing food. You are thinking, I am cooking for my children, practicing loving kindness, you prepare food. While you are eating with your children, you are enjoying at that moment. Every moment we think that the happiness is in the present moment. We don't go away from the present. Now if we don't have this understanding, we always think that the happiness comes in the future. On the other side, there is another change in our life. Now we are happy when other people talk with us. We are happy with many people. When somebody doesn't talk to us, we are sad. When we are on this path, we are so happy when other people neglect us. We are so happy. We ask them, please neglect me. Because at that moment we can practice meditation. When other people do not speak with us, then at that moment even we practice meditation. We are so happy. Now our happiness depends on outside. When other people are laughing with us, we are so happy. When they disturb us, we are unhappy. Now our happiness depends on outside or other people. Day by day, when we go forward on this path, our happiness is inside. The reasons of our happiness is inside, not outside. Now we are like beggars. Beggars always depends on outside. They are holding their hands to outside. We are not away from beggars. We are also like that. Now we beg our people, please smile with us. Be with me. Don't go away. Now we are begging to others. Because now our happiness depends on outside. That is why Buddha said, Atta Deepa Bhikkhave Viharatatta Saranana Anya Sarana. Be a lamp yourself, no other refuge. Be a lamp yourself, no other refuge. Dhamma Deepa Bhikkhave Viharata Dhamma Sarana. Be a lamp with your Dhamma, no other refuge. Even though you have children, one day they go away. Even though you have husband or wife, one day they will die. Sometimes we will die before they. This is the nature of our life. Even our physical body, day by day it is aging, it is going to old age. Even though we take care of our physical body very well, this body doesn't help us. We can't control. This is the nature of the body which has impermanence and egolessness. we don't have real control in our physical body. That's the nature of our life. If we have this understanding, we have confidence in our spirituality. Day by day, we go on the path of liberation, developing in our spirituality, spiritual energy. Day by day, we are going to be rich in these 5 spiritual faculties. Saddha means the confidence in Buddha's enlightenment, his teachings and his noble disciples. Energy, virya. Energy means the courage that we have to overcome evil and also the energy that we have to do good deeds. Sati means mindfulness, living with mindfulness with our mind and body. Concentration means as the result of practicing mindfulness, we are able to live in the present moment with mindfulness for a long time with the wholesome object, such as loving kindness, breathing, right? And also always we try to reflect on impermanence with a concentrated mind. We always reflect on impermanence arising and ceasing in our experience. Then, if we are in this path, these are the major things in our life. In our day-to-day life, we think a lot about these 5 things. And also, we are living with these 5 things. Then our enemies go away. Our craving go away. Our stress go away. Our laziness go away. We are so active. We are so courageous. Day by day, we should try to develop these 5 things. These are our real friends. Never go away from you. One day your children may go away. One day your husband, your parents go away. But they never leave you until you will attain enlightenment, and also after enlightenment until you passed away. They never go away from you. Birth to birth, they are following you as real good friends. That is why Buddhism says, this is the real property. This is the real dowry. This is the real insurance. This is the real property. This is the real refuge. That is why we should be intelligent to develop day by day these qualities. Okay, have you any question you can ask?
I'm curious, but say, you might have known about Mahayana, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like in especially Tibetan Mahayana, they do the mala chanting with the bead. And I was wondering why is that Theravada is not doing that? Isn't that a good encouragement to do it?
Actually, in samatha meditation, we can see some kind of activities. In samatha meditation, we use some kind of activities like they practice. But our concentration always focuses on wisdom. We don't stay only in concentration. Mahayana tradition, they mostly encourage to develop their concentration and to go to a better life. Their enlightenment, their liberation in not in this life. They always think that their liberation in the future life. But they develop good qualities. Generosity, virtue, concentration, they practice. But they don't care about practicing wisdom. The important thing is early Buddhism that always Buddha encouraged us to develop wisdom. Wisdom is the real solution for our suffering. When we want to get rid of suffering, unsatisfactoriness, the real way that we practice the wisdom, panya. But Mahayana tradition, they always encourage to develop, compassion, generosity, social service, and, practicing loving kindness. They encourage to practice these kind of qualities, but they don't encourage us to develop wisdom. That's the difference. According to Buddhism, we can achieve the enlightenment in this life itself if we have courage, wisdom, concentration, confidence and mindfulness. Early Buddhism has explained to practice these 5 spiritual faculties as much as we can. That is the main difference. On this way, especially, we should be knowledgeable about the dependent origination. We may have clear understanding, clear knowledge about the dependent origination, arising and ceasing, the knowledge of impermanence. With the knowledge of impermanence, day by day, we go forward. Okay, and also when we practice these qualities, especially, we can see the results in this life. When we practice loving kindness, then we can overcome anger. We mostly suffer because of anger. If you are clever to overcome anger, be sure we can overcome more than 50% problems, stress in our life. And also, not only compassion and loving kindness, but on the other side, we always try to develop our wisdom, intelligence. Both of them are very important. Okay?
I guess it's probably different opinion. Like from their point of view, they might think that by chanting with a mala,
Actually, by chanting, they wish to concentrate their mind with the qualities of the Buddha. Actually, that is also one of the meditation techniques. That Buddhanusati. Among 40 meditation techniques in Buddhism, one of them is the contemplation of Buddha's qualities. By chanting, by reciting some mantras, actually they practice Buddhanusati Bhavana, the contemplation on Buddha's noble qualities.
And not get their mind distracted from the world or the outside world.
Actually, especially they wish to purify their mind. Actually, when they do these kind of activities, actually their mind is so pure. Their mind has no anger, no lustful desire, but still they have ignorance. But the early Buddhism always focused on not only concentrate our mind, not only go away from anger and lustful desire, but early Buddhism always encourages us to overcome ignorance. Buddha always encouraged us to go away from ignorance, avidya, delusion. That is the very important thing. Even though we practice good deeds, if you don't practice intelligence or wisdom, actually still we are in the sansaric circle. Buddhism always encourages us to go away from the sansaric journey, the circle of the sansara. That is the very important thing. Okay, now we are going to end our weekly Dhamma session. I think we discussed a lot. The summary is here. You can read everything is here that we discussed. Buddha said at the very beginning on this path, we may have clear knowledge about the dependent origination. Your patisampadam passati so dhammam passati, Buddha says. He who sees the dependent origination sees the Dhamma. Your dhammam passati so mam passati. He who sees the Dhamma sees me. Seeing the dependent origination is the way to see the Buddha and the Dhamma. And also, as much as we have knowledge about dependent origination, we know the Four Noble Truths. We know the suffering, we know the cause of suffering, we know the cessation of suffering, we know the path that leads to get rid of suffering. Understanding of Four Noble Truths depends on the dependent origination. Understanding of the Four Noble Truths depends on how far we have understood the dependent origination. Okay, they are interrelated. On the other side, if we know the Four Noble Truths, we always try to practice the Eightfold Path, from Samma Ditti to Samma Samadhi, from right understanding to right concentration. On the other side, the knowledge of the three characteristics gradually increases. Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta. Then those things are our friends. Now Anicca is our enemy. We are so afraid of Anicca. But with the understanding of the Dhamma, they come to our friendship. That is our life. We are not away from the three characteristics. When they are our friends, we are not afraid of them. Now they are enemies of us. Impermanence, anicca, dukkha, unsatisfactoriness, egolessness, anatta. These are the real incidents that every moment that we have. Then when we go on the path of liberation, these doctrines are our close friends. They are our life. Now, knowledge is in another way. We are in the other way. When we go forward on this path, the Dhamma is like our breathing. Like our breathing. It is not away from us. We always are breathing with these doctrines. Seeing impermanence, practicing 5 spiritual faculties, seeing 3 characteristics, living in the Eightfold Path. This is our life. Every moment we are living with these friends like our breathing. Then we have no other enemies in our life. These are the real friends in our life. Okay. Thank you for your participation for this class. Today we discussed about the 5 spiritual faculties. Panchendriya Dhamma. Okay. When we are going to practice 5 indriya or 5 spiritual faculties, then we should be in mindfulness. Mindfulness is the background, the field, the land that we should always live in. Living in mindfulness means we are supplying the water, fertilize, everything. We are preparing, we are supplying for the trees. What are the trees? There are 4 trees. Confidence, energy, concentration and wisdom. When we add some water or fertilize, then we can see the very beautiful flowers and nuts from these trees in our life. Okay, think your life like a garden. The garden of your life has flowers. When you practice mindfulness, you help your plants which have flowers. Okay, always think your life as a garden. Whenever you practice mindfulness and wisdom, It means you help your plants, trees for more flowers, more nuts. Don't disturb those flowers and nuts, polluting your mind. When you pollute your mind, when your mind is polluted, it means you disturb your plants and flowers. Okay? Don't disturb your plants, flowers and nuts which are in your garden of your life. Day by day, please help them for more flowers, more nuts. Whenever you are with anger, lustful desire and delusion, be sure you are disturbing your plants. Day by day, the flowers in your garden are blooming until you become enlightenment. Okay? Until we are reaching the final destination, the enlightenment, Nibbana, the flowers are blooming day by day. They don't go away from the beauty. Day by day they are blooming. Okay? Please help them to bloom in your garden, in your life. Okay, then we are so happy because day by day we go away from anger, lustful desire and ignorance. Especially, we should go away from ignorance. Ignorance means after experience we think still it is happening. That is the big mistake. That is a delusion, ignorance in our life. Please go away from that misunderstanding. As soon as we think something, as soon as we see something, we hear something, we should have an ability to understand this incident arises this moment. It didn't come to the present from the past. It will not go to the future from the present. Every experience, every moment is a fresh one. Every moment arises at the moment.
You mentioned earlier there are 40 techniques of meditation. If you have time, would you explain? Next time.
Actually, little by little, we in one day we can't explain everything. But last days we explain Buddha Anusati, the contemplation on Buddha's qualities we explain. One day we explain breathing meditation. One day we explain 4 sublime states. Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekkha. Actually, in our classes, we have discussed more than 8. Okay? As we are free, we can explain something. Okay? I will try. Thank you for your suggestions. Okay? Now the time to transfer the merits to our beloved departed relatives to come into the temple, and you meditated and you paid your homage to the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, and also this moment you listening to Buddha's message very faithfully. By the power of all these merits, may our departed relatives also receive these merits. May they enhance their spiritual energy. May they also attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, transfer these merits to our departed relatives too. Idam me ñāti naṁ hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñāti naṁ hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñāti naṁ hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. By the power of all these merits, may guardian deities and angels also receive these merits. By receiving these merits, may they enhance their psychic energy and may they also attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to guardian deities and angels too. Akasattha ca bummattha devānaga mahiddhikā puññantaṃ anumoditva cirang rakkhantu sāsanam ආකාසට්ඨා ච බුම්මට්ඨා දේවා නාග මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං රක්ඛන්තු දේශනං ආකාසට්ඨා ච බුම්මට්ඨා දේවා නාග මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං රක්ඛන්තු මං පරං. By the power of all these merits, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no problems come to you. May your all righteous wishes meet with success. May all of us attain final bliss of liberation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dukkham pantāca niddukkhaṃ bhayam pantāca nidbhayam sokam pantāca nissokāṃ anto sambe pipanino. May the triple gem bless you.